Trucking these days is getting pretty crazy, wouldn't you guys say? And honestly, in this video, I'm here to talk to you guys about how wrong I was about trucking and what my 10-year career has been like and what I've learned throughout this time, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So sit back and relax, and let's just jump right into it. When I first started this career, I was pretty ignorant and thought that the whole outlaw life of trucking was this cool thing, and it really wasn't. You know, I always thought like working for like a really small mom and pop place would make me lots of money and I'd get treated better, but didn't always really turn out like that. I always used to think that these big corporation companies and whatnot were also the worst, and sometimes they could be the best. Not really the best, but you know what I'm saying. It could probably work out a lot better, just more stable. Coming into trucking, you guys are going to expect different things, and I'm going to share my experiences, what I expected and what the reality was. When it comes to trucking now compared to the 1980s and 90s and 70s, there is no comparison, except back then it was different. It was a different time compared to today. Everything is structuralized, I guess you could say, and also very corporate feeling, right? And there's a lot of people out there that's going to say, well, I work for this mom and pop company. I'm doing just fine, making so much, blah, 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 and my life is so good. That's fine. But one thing I noticed that when I was doing the small mom and pop company is there was a lot of bad things that went astray. The miles might have been there. The pay, iffy. But if you decide to leave the company, I found that these companies will try to gyp you every way possible. One company I worked at, they had about 5 or 6 trucks and stuff. They pretty much gypped me on my last paycheck, and it was like only like for $500 or whatever. You know, saying that they had to replace the mattress in there, even though the mattress I got when I got in there needed replacing. You know, and it was just funny. Like they just found every little thing to take from me. One other company was really recent. I had a $2,000 escrow, or no, it was $2,500 escrow, and I just want to point out that the escrow thing that these companies make you do is a complete scam. I mean, unless somebody can put in the comments that they've had all of their escrow back, I think it's a complete scam. But the last company I was at, you know, they had a $2,500 escrow. I brought the truck back, everything was good, but never got my escrow back, and I paid all my money into it. So basically, I just gave them $2,500 for literally nothing. Now, back then, I was very adamant on older trucks, you know, the W900s and how badass they were, and that's all it really was about, was looks of a truck, and it did get me from point A to point B, and it did make me money. But, you know, if you want to go breakdown wise, I mean, it was a pretty sturdy truck compared to some of the newer trucks these days. But even like this truck I'm in now, we have like one little breakdown, one little fix, and no big deal. But I found that, you know, now that I'm back in a bigger-ish company, like just like how when I was on rail and Melton, things are different. And I think that really has to go with experience. Having this experience, I have found that I just am comfortable. I'm comfortable in a newer truck. I'm comfortable with my routes. I'm comfortable with my DM. I'm comfortable with the drive cam. I'm comfortable with security. What do I mean by security? Well, basically, when you work at a small company that doesn't have that many trucks or whatever, you know, if you break down, you might not have another truck to go in if that truck's screwed. Also, I found you don't really get blamed a lot when it comes to a breakdown or something going wrong in the bigger companies compared to a smaller company. You get blamed for every little thing that went astray. What I also like is if I need to talk to dispatch, or if I need to talk to somebody for a comm data check for lumpers, or if I need breakdown at a certain time, I don't feel as bad to call for that such thing any time of day or night. Whereas another company, I would call and I would feel bad about it because I'd be waking the owner up, I'd be waking, the boss up at that time at like 2 in the morning for something, or nobody would answer like 4 in the morning. It's just, it kind of sucked, because you just thought that, you just felt bad. But that's their job, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But I feel like with this bigger company, you get everything done when you need to get it done. And I'm not talking in particular about this company. I'm talking about any bigger company, a corporation type feel. Now, back in the day, I used to hate corporate companies. I used to think, they paid low, they're micromanaging, they have slow trucks, they tell you which way to go, where to fuel, and I just thought, this is just stupid. And that's why I was stuck to like the 1099 companies, where I'd go for a small company with W-2s, and it just, no matter what company you go to, even like the big one, the runs were consistent, but the policies weren't, And the longer I've been here, the more I realize, with more maturity, that I'm just comfortable. And you will learn throughout your trucking career that you kind of start to adapt to your environment, adapt to your company. You just get comfortable with where you're at. Like right now, I'm comfortable. I know the policies, I know the e-logs, and I know someone's got my back when I need it, when it comes to the working. And I'm actually good with the speed. Our trucks are covered at 72. Like, everything is just comfortable. I know how things work. Whereas you might go to a company that's smaller and you don't know if it's going to work out the same. You don't know what the next day is going to be like. You don't even know if you're going to be comfortable. Sure, the first few months might feel grand, but just wait. Who knows what can happen. And I'm not saying that all companies are bad, like all small companies. But make sure that, the smaller companies have a backup plan in place for when you need it. I guess when it comes to my thoughts on bigger and smaller companies is, try them both out, especially if you're coming into the trucking industry. I always wanted to try to fit in back then. I wanted to try to look cool, and I didn't really care about policy or how much money it made me or whatnot. I was always just trying to drive a cool truck, and it's really not about that. Try to do what works for you. Try to get into your comfort zone. And, younger me would have really not liked this older me at all. The younger me would have probably thought the newer me, I guess you could say, is conforming into the system, is bootlicking into corporation and all that. And it's like, no, to be honest, I'm comfortable. I got a good running truck. When I need maintenance done or if something breaks down, I know that this company can cover that stuff. Whereas like if I'm with a smaller one, you don't know what's going to happen. If they're going to blame you or make you feel like shit about it, about a breakdown or whatever, at least I know here I'm covered. Sure, there's a little bit more micromanaging, but it's really not that bad. I hear from my dispatch every time I get a load. That's basically to confirm that I have a load on my planner. And that's it. And then they let me do the rest. I've been consistent on my time. I've been making all my loads on time, doing all right on miles. I'm average 21 to 25 a week solo now. And it ain't no 3,000 like I hear a lot of people say. And that's another thing is I know a lot of you all out there is going to be like, well, I make 3,000 miles. I make 3,500 miles a week. I make $2,500 a day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a day. I make $1 million a week. There's always going to be people out there that will try to one-up you in the trucking industry. There's always going to be somebody out there who thinks that they're just better at you in every single way of trucking. And to that, I can say, good for you. I'm comfortable. I hope you're comfortable with the job you're at, and I hope everyone's comfortable with what they choose. Just for those new drivers coming in, be wary of people talking about how do was just get my time in and then get into a smaller company, and well, as you guys see how things turned out later on in my life. So I've just kind of settled down, like a trucking retirement over the road. Not really retirement, I don't know, a change of pace, and I'm happy with that. So do what you guys want. Make sure you do the research with whatever companies you go for, and try to make it last. Try to make it last. You're gonna have bad days in trucking. Don't quit over those bad days. I was kind of big on that. Like, I'd have a couple bad days or even a couple bad weeks, and I'd be like, you know what, screw this, I'm out. Sometimes that's just gonna happen in trucking. You gotta just take the good with the bad and move forward. So thank you all for watching. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and hit the bell icon to get notified for every time I upload a video. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all out there. Be safe. Peace.